Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has received a standing ovation from British politicians while appearing by video link in the House of Commons, comparing his country's fight against Russia to Britain's battle against the Nazis. Key points: Mr. Zelensky asked the House of Commons to declare Russia a terrorist state. Mr. Zelensky asked the House of Commons to declare Russia a terrorist state. He thanked Prime Minister Boris Johnson for the help already offered, but said Britain and others had to go further. He thanked Prime Minister Boris Johnson for the help already offered, but said Britain and others had to go further. More than 400 civilians were in the fighting so far. The President's request to address Parliament was permitted by the Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who told Mr. Zelensky, "We have watched the situation unfold in your country with increasing concern, but also with increasing admiration for the courage, the fortitude displayed by you and your fellow Ukrainians." In his speech, Mr. Zelensky echoed the words of former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, declaring Ukrainians would fight Russian soldiers in the forests, in the fields, on the shores and in the streets. "We will not give up, and we will not lose. We will fight until the end, at sea, in the air. We will continue fighting for our land, whatever the cost," he said. Mr. Zelensky again pleaded for help to secure his country's skies against Russian attacks, and he asked the UK House of Commons to impose heavier sanctions on Moscow and declare Russia a terrorist state. "Please make sure that you do what needs to be done," he said. Mr. Zelensky documented the Russian invasion day by day, listing the weapons used, the civilians, and the lack of food and water for many. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 43 seconds 43's the moment Ukrainian President Zelensky receives standing ovation from British Parliament. Dressed in an olive green t-shirt, he thanked British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who has sought to take a leading role in backing Ukraine against Russia, for the help already offered, but said Britain and other Western countries had to go further. The British politicians gave the President, who has vowed to stay in Kiev, a standing ovation at both the beginning and end of his speech. Argument continues in Kharkiv. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 1 minute 5 seconds 1 minute and 5 seconds Russian strikes wreak havoc in Kharkiv. Although Russian troops have encircled Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Chernihiv and Sumy, Ukrainian forces have managed to keep control of key cities in central and southeastern Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky said. In Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, Ukrainian troops repulsed efforts by Russian forces to enter the city, Regional Governor Oleh Syniehubov said on Tuesday local time. A satellite image showing armored vehicles moving northeast of Antonov Airport near Hostomel, Ukraine on Tuesday, March 8. Russia has been seeking to seize the city of 1.4 million people since the start of its invasion some 13 days ago. Kharkiv is in northeastern Ukraine, a 45-minute drive from the Russian border, where residents predominantly speak Russian. The city has suffered repeated bombardment that has crumbled apartment buildings, and more than 140 since the start of the invasion. On Tuesday, a strike on the security service of Ukraine building in Kharkiv also damaged the art museum next door. The shockwave from the blast left the renowned museum with broken windows and shattered doors. Staff were forced to store their most prized possessions in the vault. A satellite image of a damaged bridge over the Irpin River, west of Kiev, in northern Ukraine on Tuesday, March 8. The head of the museum's foreign arts department, Marina Filatova, said when she felt her building jump in the air from the shelling, she realized all is lost, pure hell. "You know, during the first day it all started I had words. Then I had expletives," she said. "How do you do something like that? I'm just lost for words." A militiaman walks in a checkpoint set up at a road heading to the city of Kiev. Meanwhile, in the southern regional capital of Mykolaiv, Russian forces have repeatedly tried to seize control in attacks that have been repulsed by Ukrainian troops, according to the presidential office. They'd need 10 times more force to take Mykolaiv, Ukrainian presidential advisor Oleksiy Arestovich said in a televised briefing. The UN said Ukraine was plunging deeper into a humanitarian crisis, with more than 400 civilians so far. The UN Human Rights Office said 27 of those were children. The World Health Organization confirmed at least 7 healthcare centers and hospitals were assaulted in the past 12 days. While it did not outwardly blame Russian forces for the attacks, it pleaded for fighting to not occur anywhere near health facilities, all of which are protected by international humanitarian law. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 3 minutes 23 seconds 3 minutes and 23 seconds. What is China's role in the Ukraine conflict? ABC or Wires.